Okay, so I think this is the most intuitive approach, physical approach to the meaning of this, of the convolution. In this particular, you say, well, but that's very special. Okay, so it tells me what the meaning of a convolution with an exponential is, but what about the convolution with all the other functions we're going to have to use in this course? They can all be interpreted just by being a little flexible in your approach. I'll give you two examples of this. Well, first of all, I use it for, in the problem set, I ask you about a bank account. That's not something any of you are interested in. Okay, so how about, suppose instead I dump garbage. Undecaying. So something that doesn't decay at all. What's the answer going to be? Well, the calculation will be exactly the same. It'll be the convolution of the dumping function. The only difference is that now the garbage isn't going to decay, so no matter how long it's left, the same amount is going to be left at the end. In other words, I don't want an exponential decay function. I want the function 1, the constant function 1, because once I stick it on the pile, nothing happens to it, it just stays there. So it's going to be the convolution of this 1, because this is constant, it's undecaying. By the identical reasoning. And so what's the answer going to be? It's going to be the integral from 0 to t of f of u du. Now that's an 1801 problem. If I dump with a dumping rate f of u, and I dump from time 0 to time t, how much is on the pile? They don't give it. They always give velocity problems and problems of how to slice up bread loaves and stuff like that. But this is a real life problem. If that's the dumping rate and you dump for t days, from 0 to time t, how much do you have left at the end? Answer, the integral of f of u du from 0 to t. I'll give you another example. Suppose I wanted a function, wanted to interpret something which grows like t, for instance. All I want is a physical interpretation. Well, I have to think of, I'm making a pile of something, you know, a metaphorical pile. We don't actually have to make a physical pile. And the thing should be growing like t. Well, what grows like t? Not bacteria, they grow exponentially. Before the lecture, I was trying to think of something, so I came up with chickens. I'm sure on a chicken farm, little baby chickens grow linearly. All little animals. Anyway, I've observed that babies grow linearly, at least for a while, thank God. After a while, they taper off. But at the beginning, you know, they eat every 4 hours or whatever, and they eat the same amount pretty much, and that adds up. So let's suppose this represents the linear growth of chickens. Baby chicks. Baby chick, that makes them sound cuter. Less offensive. Okay, so a chicken farmer, or whatever they call them, is starting a new brood. So anyway, the hens lay at a certain rate, and each of those are incubated, and after a while, it's a couple of months, they turn into little baby chicks come out. So this will be the rate, the production rate for new chickens. Okay? And it will be the convolution, which will tell you at time t the number of kilograms. We better do this in kilograms, I'm afraid. Now, that's not as heartless as it seems. The number of kilograms of chickens at time t. It really isn't heartless because, after all, why would the farmer want to know that? Well, because a certain number of pounds of chicken eat a certain number of pounds of chicken feed, and that's how much he has to dump, must have to give them every day. That's how he calculates his expenses. So he will have to know what the convolution is, or better yet, he will hire you who knows what the convolution is, and you'll be able to tell him. Okay, why don't we stop there and go to recitation tomorrow, because they'll be doing important things.